Good afternoon, friends. I'm going to read from Luke 5 today, the first 11 verses. One day, as Jesus was standing by the lake of Gennesaret, the people were crowding around him and listening to the word of God. He saw at the water's edge 2 boats left there by the fishermen who were washing their nets. He got into one of the boats, the one belonging to Simon, and asked him to put out a little from shore. Then he sat down and taught the people from the boat. When he had finished speaking, he said to Simon, "Launch out into deep water and let the nets down for a catch." Simon answered, "Master, we've worked hard all night and haven't caught anything. But because you say so, I will let down the nets." When they'd done so, they caught such a large number of fish that their nets began to break. So they signaled their partners in the other boat to come and help them. And they came and filled both boats so full that they began to sink. When Simon Peter saw this, he fell at Jesus' knees and said, "Go away from me, Lord, I am a sinful man." For he and all his companions were astonished at the catch of fish they had taken. And so were James and John, the sons of Zebedee, Simon's partners. Then Jesus said to Simon, "Don't be afraid. From now on, you will fish for people." So they pulled their boats up on shore, left everything, and followed him. Today, as I was reading through this, I was struck just by how relatable Peter is. Here he is. He's been working hard all night. He hasn't caught anything. And Jesus comes on the scene. Jesus, who is not a fisherman, comes in the middle of the day and says, "Let's go out a little farther and put your nets down for a catch." And Peter has to be thinking, this is crazy. We are fishermen. No, the best time to fish is at night, and we've just had a really unsuccessful night. And yet Peter, who is a few chapters before has just seen Jesus heal his mother-in-law, expresses faith, and he steps out in faith and he obeys what Jesus says. He says, "Master, it wasn't a great night of fishing, but because you said so, I will do it." And there's something that happens here between Jesus saying, "Launch out," and Peter saying, "I will," that leads us to this display of God's sovereignty, his power, and we see this miracle of all of these fish being caught and being brought onto the boats. And today, God is asking that same question of us. He's asking us, launch out. Will you launch out for me? We know this world is filled with despair, with discouragement. We know there are people who are lost and who are hungry to hear a word from the Lord and to have the hope of the gospel. And so Jesus is asking us, launch out a little deeper. Go where the people are. Put down your nets. And it's up to us whether we say, "I will." There's another thing that strikes me about this. When Jesus asks Peter to go deep and to cast his nets, he doesn't tell him to get prepared. He doesn't say, "Go make sure that your nets are sturdy. Go make sure that your friends are close by, so if you need them in a pinch, they can come over and help you out." He doesn't say, "Make sure your boats are in tip-top shape." He's not asking Peter to have everything perfect and prepped and ready to go. He's asking Peter to go now with the tools that he has now. Sometimes when we think about launching out, we get caught up in all of those details and in what we lack and what we don't have ready. And it's important for us to remember that when we're launching out, we are launching out into God's resources, his limitless resources, into his limitless power, his limitless provision. He is the one that will provide. He is the one that brought it all together for that catch that day on the Sea of Galilee with Simon Peter. And we can trust that he will prepare and make a way for us when we launch out, when we cast our nets deep, when we pursue the people around us, when we are delving into relationship and living out the call that he has placed on our lives. So friends, be encouraged today that the God that is calling you to launch is also limitless. He will carry you. He will provide for you. all you have to do is say, I will.